Welcome to Stormin Chocolate. I'm Stormin Norman. Today's song is number 47, Until the Night by Billy Joel, from the album 52nd Street. Billy Joel is one of my favorite singer-songwriters, even though he's pretty much a straightforward piano man. Not in the same sense that Elton John is, because historically, Elton did not write his own lyrics, but took the lyrics he was given, wrote the music for them, and I think most importantly, performed the combination. Virtually all of Billy Joel's songs from his studio albums are credited to him for both music and lyrics, with two exceptions. Code of Silence from 1986's The Bridge was co-written with Cyndi Lauper, and the chorus tune from This Night from 1983's An Innocent Man is credited as being Ludwig van Beethoven's Pathetique Sonata. In my experience, Billy has had three phases to his career. First, with the release of Piano Man in 1973, after the debacle of his first effort, 1971's Cold Spring Harbor, Joel was formally introduced to the world as a world-class storyteller. The album was full of a young man's tales, from a gig in a piano lounge to laments of being on the road away from his wife. This album hit number 27 in the US and number 14 in Australia, and over the past 50 years has reached 4 times platinum in America. The next two albums, 1974's Street Life Serenader and 1976's Turnstiles, reached number 35 and number 122 respectively in the States, but fared better in other countries. Street Life Serenader hit number 16 in Canada, and Turnstiles hit number 12 there also. Both are full of solid songs, just like Piano Man, but the latter was able to leverage the new artist foot-in-the-door phenomenon better. Correcting this downward trend was 1977's The Stranger. There were a lot of songs that resonated with new listeners and continue to resonate. So far, this album has sold 11 million copies in the US alone and several more worldwide. 4 singles were released in the US and reached the top 40, with Just the Way You Are hitting number 3. But it also contained other songs that could well have been successful singles. At the end of the day, the album only hit number 2 in the US, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand, and number 3 in Japan. But continuing this phase were the number 1 albums of 52nd Street from 1978 and Glass Houses from 1980. This peak was followed by a slow decline with 1982's The Nylon Curtain and 1986's The Bridge, both hitting number 7 in the US, and An Innocent Man from 1983, in between Nylon Curtain and The Bridge, hitting number 4. Maybe not a decline, but a plateau. But then he hit the top again with 1989's Stormfront, on the strength of the single We Didn't Start the Fire, and with 1993's River of Dreams with its title track. Not only did both hit number 1 in the US, but Stormfront was in the top 10 in 7 other countries and sold some 5.5 million worldwide, while River of Dreams hit the top 10 in 9 other countries and has sold nearly 7 million copies. River of Dreams is Joel's final studio album to date, released over 30 years ago. We'll go over more detail about the steps and stages between albums when we cover songs from them, and there will be a lot of them. For example, there are potentially 15 songs I could do from his first 3 albums alone, but I need to figure out which ones I truly love and which I only like a lot. I started to get into Billy Joel while in Germany by getting talked into going to a concert of his in Offenbach, West Germany, a satellite town to Frankfurt, where I lived from 76 to 79 for high school. I had seen the poster advertising the concert, which was basically the cover of the 52nd Street album, but with the tagline, America's Musical Poet. The crowd was on the smaller side, hence why it was held in the smaller venue of Offenbach and not the Frankfurt Festhalle, where I had seen Pink Floyd the year before. We were like 10 to 12 rows back and had a pretty good view. He played a lot of songs from The Stranger, all of which were well received, and favorites from the previous 3 albums. One of the things I didn't know at the time, One of the things I did not know, I was only 17 at the time in February of '79, is that bands usually tailor their playlists to the countries they're playing in to take advantage of local favorites. So you might see a concert video or even buy a live album, and they play songs that were never popular where you are, and this is why. I distinctly remember that the crowd went wild when he played the Angry Young Man Suite, which starts with piano gymnastics that they readily recognized. But they were also kind of reserved during some songs, most of which I learned were from the current album but had not yet become hits. The first 3 album cuts were released as singles in the US, while today's song, Until the Night, was the second single after My Life to be released in the UK. That said, today's song only hit number 50 there. Most of Joel's output seems to have a New York vibe and extending somewhat to a New England/Long Island feel in his later works. And because of this, I'm always curious how his music would be received in other countries Go back.
No.
Most of Joel's output seems to have a New York vibe and extending somewhat to a New England/Long Island feel in his later works. And because of this, I'm always curious how his music would be received in other countries to help explain why neither Big Shot nor Honesty weren't singles in the UK. Ironically, I watched a YouTube video a couple weeks ago where a group of content creators were trying to rank the most American songs for each of the decades from the 60s on.
Content creators.
Jesus.
I don't think they're Jesus.
The official ranking was to determine the difference in US record sales minus international sales, with higher positive numbers implying the song to be more American. If I remember correctly, since the 80s and for 5.5 decades, the most American songs were country songs. Anyway, as implied by my 15 songs from the first 3 albums comment earlier, I listen to Billy Joel's albums from front to back and decide what I like and what I don't. This is useful since the popular songs are usually just the singles that are released, unless there are extraordinary breakouts like Scenes from an Italian Restaurant from The Stranger. On 52nd Street, then, I like all the songs, except for the title song, which is just a 2.5-minute throwaway at the end. And I love the 4 other songs on side 2 that most people have never heard: Stiletto, Rosalinda's Eyes, Half a Mile Away, and today's song, Until the Night. All 9 songs on this album are very different from each other, except maybe that Big Shot and My Life are thematically similar, so there's a lot to choose from. Great for me, Until the Night starts in the lowest part of Billy's range, so it's fairly easy for me to sing along with as a bass. But not great for anyone else in hearing range. It has a similar structure to the Righteous Brothers hit, You've Lost That Loving Feeling, and Bill Medley, one half of the Righteous Brothers, covered it in 1981. For many years, up till around 5 minutes ago, I felt that the song was about a man and a woman, occasionally lovers who have decided to officially end their illicit love affair to avoid hurting their other official relationships. I can still wholeheartedly defend that interpretation. But I can also read an alternative, that before the song starts, a husband and wife have decided to end their official relationship and go their separate ways, but the song's protagonist is having second thoughts and cannot wait until the night tonight when they both come back home from work before parting forever. Let us know in the comments if you know this song and have an opinion which way to read it.
Yeah.
I see the structure of the song as having an A-B-A-B-C-B verse-chorus structure with a bridge before the modified chorus at the end. In the first verse, Joel admits that lately he's been living inside his own head, not really aware of what either of them is actually doing, or how she's perceiving him.
I never ask you where you go. After I leave you in the morning, we go our different ways to separate situations. It's not that easy anymore. Today I do what must be done. I give my time to total strangers. But now it feels as though the day goes on forever, more than it ever did before.
And then the chorus swells up, and he bemoans the necessary waiting he must do at his job before he can escape back home. In the second verse, he starts talking about the heartbreak and separation they are about to go through, and are they really prepared to make this step?
Now you're afraid that we have changed, and I'm afraid we're getting older. So many broken hearts, so many lonely faces, so many lovers come and gone. I'll have my fears like every man. You'll have your tears like every woman. Today we'll be unsure. Is this what we believe in? And wonder how can we go on?
You'll notice that there's no resolution in the verse, no leaning towards going through with it or backing out and staying together. And the chorus again describes the tortuous wait until they are reunited. And then the fun part, the bridge. And if you think he's been letting his emotions show, you ain't seen nothing yet. After the second chorus, as opposed to after the first chorus where there are 3 cymbal crashes, there are 6. And then we bring it down to just a closed hi-hat keeping time and a piano hit with soft guitar and bass once per bar. And from this soft introspection, we get the following building passage.
When the sun goes down and the day is over, when the last of the light has gone, as they pour into the street, I will be getting closer, as the cars turn their headlights on, as they're closing it down, I'm gonna open it up, and while they're going to sleep, we'll just be starting to talk. I'm just beginning to feel, I'm just beginning to give, I'm just
And then we get a great sax solo as the music continues to build to the final outro chorus and the crescendo ending. So beautiful, so heart-wrenching, and I love that final bell after the last cymbal crash at the end of the song. Billy Joel was still married to his first wife in 1978 and had been for about 5 years. It would be another 4 years before they divorced in 1982, so I don't think this song is necessarily autobiographical. But it could be. Hey Billy, leave me a note in the comments about this question. Your friend, Stormin. Famously, Billy had moved to LA after the failure of Cold Spring Harbor and had taken a gig in a bar playing piano, hence Piano Man. But he had a mostly stable band that started coming together in 1974 when bassist Doug Stegmeyer joined for the Street Life Serenader tour. Billy mentioned to Doug that he was considering moving back to New York and really wanted to find a New York drummer that was aggressive and hard-hitting to his drums. Doug mentioned that he had just been in a band called Topper with Liberty DeVito, who fit the bill. Billy, Doug, and Liberty recorded the basic tracks for Turnstiles when Doug and Liberty recommended their Topper guitarists Howie Emerson and Russell Javers. Doug's brother Al recommended saxophonist Richie Cannata when Doug told him Billy was looking for one, and the Billy Joel Band was born. Although David Brown replaced Howie Emerson in 1978, the core of the band remained the same through 1987. You can see Russell Javers sing the duet of today's song in the live video linked in the description. So that's it for Billy Joel's Until the Night from the #1 album in America for the year-end chart of 1979, 52nd Street. Next time, George Thorogood is going to ask you to move it on over in order to find out who do you love. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.